What's going on, people? Welcome back to another Draco Reaction Vlogs. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also comment on the video. It definitely help out my channel. So today, I actually took the massive W today for Spurs. Spurs took a massive W today. They actually sacked Thomas Frank on February 11th. And let's be honest, that sacking was inevitable. The writing was right on the wall, just like graffiti, and it was just a matter of when he could get sacked. I expected, after that Newcastle defeat yesterday, I expected the board and the people on the upper management is not going to do anything to get this man sacked. They were probably going to wait till once Spurs immediately leave the Champions League and then fire Frank after. But to be honest, I'm pretty surprised it actually happened now. But then again, I'm not really surprised. You should have been sacked a month ago at the latest, or even the earliest, if you want to think about it. After that one-sided performance against Arsenal, not the one coming up in 11 days, but the one back at the Emirates in November. You should have been fired just for that first half alone. Or even games where we have teams just attacking us and we've done nothing to at least try to get a sniff on the other team. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the damage was already done by the end of December, January, when immediately Frank said he was happy to take a point from Brentford away. And he should have been sacked immediately after that because Spurs is a bigger club than Brentford in terms of trophies. However, cannot go over to your own club, former club, and say you're happy for a draw. Then we haven't even gotten a win in 26, and this sacking actually feels more of a win to me than the Champions League games he played. But after Frank's gone, apparently De Zerbi, who used to manage Marseille, has also left as well. So apparently maybe that was the reason they wanted to sack Frank and get De Zerbi. Who knows? I know in Marseille he got players blowing out like Greenwood, Aubameyang, and them folks over here such as Palacio. But however, as much as the guy is pretty ambitious to win stuff, if I remember correctly, he hasn't won anything in his career. He can get us playing good football if we could appoint him. However, at the same time, I don't expect us to win anything. I think the best case for us going forward, considering we have 3 months left, we can might as well just get an interim in this case, or make the head coach the interim. No, not the head coach, the assistant coach the interim. I know our assistant who manages Ajax, used to manage Ajax, 25, hasn't been done that great for Ajax, but to be honest, I'm not really expecting a lot, but I'm just hoping if we get an interim or potentially a permanent manager appointment, which the latter is unlikely, I'm just hoping we just stay up in this case. Maybe try to go for a Champions League because it's literally the only competition we have. However, I don't see us winning it. And considering in 11 days we got Arsenal next, it's just up for grabs what's going to happen on the 22nd week. I'm still confident that we're not going to beat Arsenal because look at how of the players we got in the squad. But however, we will see what happens during that day. Now looking to the manager's side, if you want to think about it, I think Frank kind of deserves to get sacked. As harsh as it sounds, originally when I heard we were the one looking for him after we sacked Ange Postecoglou end of last season. Like, he isn't really my top choice. But unfortunately, we bought him out of his contract from Brentford and slapped a 3-year deal on him. And it's like, cool. Unfortunately, Frank is at our club. However, if he wins me something within 2 years, he can stay. And the football has to be a bit better defensively and offensively. Because if you think about it, Ange won something in 2 years. We didn't play pretty well, and especially in his second season, but he factually won Spurs a trophy in 17 years. However, after we got rid of him, the manager that actually won us 2 years and bought in Frank, we haven't really been playing awful in terms of style of play. I don't think he's improved anyone, our existing players in our squad. Not that all of them are good anyway, but for me, he hasn't got a tune out of the players. And after like the first couple games of the season, where we were playing all right, and even some of the Champions League matches where we were just bopping teams off the park and getting those wins, just after when the new year hits, the football started to get worse. We were just defending, just saying not to lose, contain, which invites other teams to go ahead and attack us. And that's how we were not able to win games, let alone even secure draws in this point, because his style of play was just allowing teams to attack us, park, sit back. Let's hope we can nick a corner or nick goals off of crosses or set pieces. Which I don't mind nicking goals off of set pieces, but at the same time, you cannot win games sustainably with set pieces. And the set piece, and considering that there was no set pieces in games such as the Cups, such as Newcastle and Aston Villa, that style of play is not successful. And even in teams that we should be nicking points off of, we should be going there, grabbing wins easily, like Bournemouth, Brentford, Sunderland, Burnley, West Ham. Each case, because they haven't been good this season, and they were there for a taking. Yet we cannot find a way to even get 1 point or even 3 points against the teams that we should be beating on the fly. No questions asked. Now that Frank is gone, and deservedly so, because let's be honest, the latest he should have been gone was after we lost to West Ham. Basically a team that's been fighting relegation. We just gave them points, and now we're about to head into relegation zone. As it stands, Frank left us in 16th. We're with a -1 goal difference. His record was actually worse than all the managers I've seen at my club so far. This guy has 13 wins, 11 draws, and 14 losses. That is not really good for a manager in this first season. But yeah, Frank is gone, and that puts an end to the misery for now. I'm pretty happy that he's gone because, again, the football we've been playing is unattractive. It's like watching paint dry every time we go out the pitch. Where we have 5 at the back or 4 at the back, it's just boring. And we're not getting the results we needed. And considering last year we finished 17th under Ange, we're getting close to 17th under Frank without any silverware this season, potentially, if this continues on. But now that Frank is gone, we will probably get Aram, like I said before. But in the summer, I'm hoping the club can be ambitious and get a proper manager, as in a manager that has won silverware. Heard Glasner's leaving Palace this season, so there's a chance that we could swoop in to get him if this club wants to be ambitious and continue trying to pick up some silverware within the next decade. And even though if we get good managers or managers that are poor, such as Amram, even Sean Dice got sacked from Forest, and that football over there for both Amram and Dice is boring. Even if we get, let's say, top elite managers or a crap manager, however, the recruitment needs to do something, and the sporting director as well as the ownership, to go get players that can make a difference, such as getting like an Eze type, if you want to look for an attacking mid, or even a Salvino type if you want to look for a winger, because he's so big talent. I've seen Kane leave the club. I've seen Dembele leave the club. I've seen Bale leave the club. Seen Modric leave the club. Seen Son Heung-min recently left the club, and however we haven't got any replacements. Tell Odeberg, I don't think they're good enough. Solanke, I think that guy can be good. However, ever since he signed for us, he's been inconsistent. I think Bournemouth has fleeced us after that one good season with him. Javi Simmons, he's starting to get a bit better, his performances. However, he's been underwhelming, and he hasn't been doing the qualities of a number 10 that I expected to do. Dragusin hasn't been that good either, especially after a backup injury. Udogi had one good season when he first came to us, and now he hasn't been that good since. Sar's alright. He's a good player, but not great. Gallagher, who we just signed, he hasn't impressed me at all during the time he started this for us. As well as getting even the loans such as Kolomwani and stuff have not been good enough to push the club towards success. Yeah, so we need to fix up, and I think since Frank has gone, the sporting director should leave with him because he was the one that actually wanted Ange out after last season and wanted Frank in. I know our chairman has already left, Dane Levy, because he also was the one in charge of appointing Frank. But at the same time, if you think about it, he isn't really that much of a problem. We need to get rid of owners who have allowed this to happen, surprisingly, as well as the recruitment, sporting director, and the physios who have also guarantee that I know Frank came in. We had injuries such as even before the season started, such as Madison being out, Kuzesi being out, and even the season we got Kudus, who was also a good player. That guy ran him to the ground, and now he's also on the lengthy injury list. Same for starters that could have get into a lineup easily, such as Richie and Porl, you name it, Bergval, and so on. Yeah, but in the end, Frank's gone, officially gone. It is what it is. I think this club admitted that there was a mistake to hire Frank, and thankfully they've made the decision now before it's too late. And fortunately, we just have to hope whoever interim manager comes in, just makes sure we steer clear of that relegation zone. Keep a safe distance from it, just like COVID. 6 feet from the relegation zone. Just keep a safe distance. I think at this best, our current squad right now, even without the injuries, we still be in that same mess because of Frank's tactics and stuff. But I would not be surprised going forward, considering the run of games we have, which are not going to be easy, going to February and March. I would not be surprised if we end up this season finishing a mid-table spot. I would even be surprised if we even reach a Conference League spot because that's way beyond our reach. But again, Frank's gone. We need to see what the board can do, because if the board just makes a terrible appointment, then there's no point in sacking Frank. Even though, to be honest, Frank deserves to get sacked. Well, we will see what happens. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm out. Finally, you can say this is a win for this club in 2026. Peace out.